Hi guys, PD here, welcome to the channel, welcome to another new video. Welcome to my VorpX for Dummies guide 2022. I've been getting lots of requests from people wanting me to do a tutorial. I did a tutorial video about 2 years ago. Things have changed, VorpX has changed, it's had some major updates, some major patches. Ralph the creator of VorpX has kindly donated 6 licenses, 6 keys to give away for VorpX in this video. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give away 3 keys during this live premiere. So if you're watching now, you stand a really good chance of winning a key. I'm also going to give away 3 keys to 3 random people who leave a comment below the video. If you're watching this video at a later date, leave a comment below the video and I'll pick 3 winners in a few days. If you're watching this live, I want you to type in the chat right now 3D. The first 3 people that type in 3D will win a copy of VorpX. If you're a winner, contact me on Twitter, on YouTube, or come over to my Discord and send me a message over there. So what is VorpX? Basically, VorpX is a 3D injector. It turns your favorite flat games into a 3D world that you can play in a VR headset. If you've ever been to the cinema to watch a 3D film, it's like that, but it's better. The 3D in a VR headset is a lot better than what you see when you go to the cinema, so just bear that in mind. VorpX is not cheap, it's about the price of a standard game on PC. I would advise, if you're going to get VorpX, you need to look into it like an investment. Don't get VorpX just to play one of your favourite games. Look into getting VorpX to give you many years of playing some amazing games in 3D. Lots of people still have problems getting VorpX to run, and that's the main reason why I'm making this video. I've also made a list of some of my fellow VR content creators who make amazing VorpX videos. I'm going to go through their channels quickly. BJ Benjo, a good friend of mine, he makes some really amazing VorpX videos. He's got a series called Will It VR. Another good friend of mine, VRAN, he does some amazing VorpX videos. He also does some really cool tutorials for VorpX. And you'll see his profiles all the time in the VorpX application. Stereo 3D Productions, another good friend of mine. He does some really good guides on VorpX as well. He's a big fan of Resident Evil 7. He's more or less got Resident Evil 7 working perfectly in VorpX. Highly recommend you check out his videos. Last but no means least, we've got Dr. Greg VR. He likes to stream VorpX videos. He's very particular and the 3D has to be perfect for him to stream the game. So check out his channel. Again, plenty of videos, plenty of VorpX content. So to get VorpX, you need to go to the website, go to Get VorpX, and like I said, it's not cheap. At the moment it's £32, and like I said, if you're going to get VorpX, you're going to get VorpX as a long-term investment. Don't just buy VorpX to play one game. If it doesn't work, you're going to have a really bad experience, and VorpX do not do refunds. So once you've bought the program, you're stuck with the program. If you're new to VorpX and you're looking for a game to play, a game to try, head over to support, go to forums, and if you go into the top forum, the general VorpX discussions, in here is a list of games for beginners. So go into this list here, find one of these games that's in your Steam library and give it a try. At the start of this video, in the background, I showed you some footage of me playing Far Cry Primal in VorpX. Absolutely amazing, guys. Highly recommend, if you've got the game, to give that a go. Now, some of my top experiences, these are VorpX experiences I recommend to new people to try. Journey is a good one. Portal 2 is a good one. And my new favourite, Far Cry Primal. So if you're looking for a couple of recommendations from myself, I would highly recommend those 3 games to try as your first time trying the game. I would also highly recommend you bookmark the VorpX website. These forums are really handy look. Game hints and settings, technical support. If you need any help, everybody in here is really friendly. Ralph's always in there. Ralph's the creator of VorpX. He'll help you out. If you've got any suggestions for games you want to see in VorpX, leave them in the forums and somebody will try to make a profile, or Ralph will even make an official profile for the game. Once you purchase VorpX, you have to send an email to Ralph. He will then activate the application for you, and he'll send you a code to activate VorpX on your PC. You've downloaded VorpX, you've installed the program, you've been to the forums and you found a game on the list that you've got in your Steam library. I'm going to use Portal 2 as an example. I'm just downloading it now. Whilst the game's downloading, I just want to mention something that Ralph told me. Ralph is the creator of VorpX. He told me that VorpX will properly render both eyes at the same time. What that means is there's going to be no flickering in your eye. Now, if I take for example the Luke Ross mod for Cyberpunk, that uses a method that renders each eye separately. So you've got like a left, right. It does it so fast you don't see the flicker. But when you're in a game and there's some fast motion, you might start to feel uncomfortable. With most VorpX profiles, you don't get the flicker, you don't get the single eye render. You get both eyes rendered at the same time, and it's going to give you a more comfortable experience because there's going to be no flicker in the game. Now, having said that, the free VorpX mod that you can download for Cyberpunk is free to download. It's a standalone. I do believe that does have the single eye render, and that's the only way that these modders like Luke Ross and Ralph can get the 3D to work in some modern games. The Far Cry Primal video I showed you at the start of this video uses both eyes to render, so there's no flicker, and that's probably why I had a really comfortable experience and I could play the game for hours and hours. Portal 2 is installed. The first thing you need to do, you need to run the game at least once. VorpX will need certain files and folders so that it can attach itself to the game. So make sure you run the game at least once. For VorpX to run a game in 3D, it tends to prefer games in Windows mode. So as a rule of thumb, when you start a game for the first time, go to the Settings menu, Video, and make sure you turn this to Windows mode. Window no border lock, that'll do. Run in a window, and then just click Apply. Whilst you're in here, if you want to, go to the Advanced Video, go to the Video Settings, see if there's any FOV. If you can find any FOV, make sure you put the FOV to the max. So we're going to apply the settings and we're going to quit the game. Now we've installed the game, we've got the game running, it's in a window, and we've got the files and the folders we need for VorpX to attach itself to the game. So now we're going to run VorpX and we're going to run the configuration menu. So this is the VorpX configuration. If this is the first time you're running VorpX, go into General and make sure you select your VR headset. I'm using the Oculus Rift S and the Quest 2. So in the drop down box, I've selected Oculus. If you've got like a Valve Index, a Reverb G2, a Pimax, then you're going to go into here and you're going to select Steam VR. If you've got a mixed reality headset, then you're going to go for OpenX, or if you have any problems at all with your headset and VorpX, try the generic VR headset setting here. Also, if you're having problems with VorpX attaching itself to a game, make sure you select Use Alternative Hooking Method, and that's going to force VorpX to try and attach to the game. Now we're going to find the default profile for Portal 2 in VorpX. This is a profile that the creator of VorpX has made, and it just works. Go into local profiles and type in the name of the game. So we're going to type Portal 2. If you can find the game in the local profiles, then you know that's a default profile for the game. Now you can click on it and click Apply, but VorpX should recognize that Portal 2 is in your library and it's in VorpX. So all you need to do is click Apply. VorpX is now running. If you're unsure, click on Portal 2 and then click on Apply. Now when I boot up Portal 2, you're going to see the VorpX logo at the bottom of the game window, and there might be some instructions in the top left hand window of the game as well. I'm going to put on my VR headset and I'm going to run the game. My Rift S is booted up. Now if you set your device selection in the VorpX menu to the Steam one for the Index or the Vive or the Pimax, then you need to run Steam VR. So make sure you run Steam VR. Steam VR is running, and then click on play. You'll get a pop-up message warning you that the game is trying to boot up in VR. Just click on OK. And as you can see, my first attempt failed, and the VorpX hook helper has booted up. So we're going to click on install the hook helper, and this is going to help us hook VorpX to the game. So we're going to try again. So VorpX has attached itself to the game, as you can see. So now when I play the game, I'll be able to see it in my VR headset, and it's all in 3D. I'm going to jump into a new game, and I'm going to show you the settings inside the headset for VorpX. Okay guys, so I'm inside the game. I'm going to bring up my VorpX settings. I hit the delete key. Now if you read the top left of the screen when the game is booting up, it's telling me that the game has got DirectVR Scan. Basically, DirectVR Scan is going to scan the game, and it's going to give you the best 3D possible. It's going to make the FOV really nice, and it's also going to calculate your head tracking. Not all profiles and games have got DirectVR Scan. When I played Far Cry Primal yesterday, that game did have DirectVR Scan. If the game and the profile supports DirectVR Scan, hit this button and don't move. Okay, so out of the 3 scans, 1 failed. I'm going to do it again until we get all the scans working. Okay, so all the scans have been successful, look. You can see here, look. So now I've got perfect 3D. The head tracking is perfect, and we can play the game. VorpX has got 3 methods to play games in 3D. I'm going to show those methods now. If I hit the delete key and I bring up the VorpX menu again, we're currently playing the game in full VR mode. So basically, it's like a normal VR game. I can look behind me, look. I can look up. I can look down.
When you hear the buzzer, look down at the floor.
I tend to play these games with first person mode, in full VR mode. It makes me feel like I'm inside the actual game, and it feels just like a normal VR game. The only difference is I'm having to play the game with a mouse and keyboard or a gamepad. The second mode for VorpX is immersive screen mode. Basically, immersive screen mode is a giant 3D sized cinema screen in front of you. And take a note of the background. You can see the edge of the screen, look. And the way that immersive screen mode works, if I click OK and save, if I move around in the game now, watch the background. It will change colour to match the game. And this is going to enhance the immersiveness of this mode. The third method is cinema mode. In cinema mode, I'm inside a 3D house. I'm sat on a couch. You can see my imaginary gamepad. If I look to my left, I've got an amazing view outside my apartment. In front of me is a giant 3D TV screen. Now in both cinema mode and immersive screen mode, these are the modes I like to play platform games in VorpX. Games like Unravel, Little Nightmares, or In the Blind Forest. Basically you're playing a platform game and you zoom right out of the game, so all you need to see is your character running across the level, and the 3D in these platform games is amazing in VorpX. So as you can see guys, I'm inside the world and it's amazing. I'm playing the game with the mouse and keyboard. We need to go to sleep. And that's all you need to do really to get the games up and running in VorpX. And as you can see, really simple. It's not hard to do. Let me talk to this guy. This looks amazing. It's super sharp, super clear, and it feels just like a normal VR game. If you've been playing the latest Cyberpunk mod from Luke Ross or VorpX, then you know just how good this is. I'm just going to do this quick intro to show you how good this is in VorpX. And then I'm going to show you how to make custom profiles for your games.
And of course, nobody tells me anything. No, why should you tell me anything? Why should I be kept informed? You know, about the life functions of the 10,000...
The sense of height and scale is just amazing. Look at this.
Wide, close. Can you see? Vegetables.
This is just as good as a proper VR game, and it's AAA quality. I forgot just how good this game is.
We should get our story straight, alright? If anyone asks, and no one's going to ask, don't worry, but if anyone asks, tell them as far as you know, the last time you checked, everyone looked pretty much alive. Alright? Remember, you're looking for a gun.
Absolutely incredible, guys.
Not bullet holes, but don't worry, you'll figure it out. Seriously, do hold on this time.
Okay, I'm just going to go and grab my portal gun.
Here we go. Now I'll be honest, good luck.
Hello, and again welcome to the Aperture Science Enrichment Center. We are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
As you can see, I'm actually inside the game, guys. I'm not playing the game in a giant window. I'm not playing the game in a little box, like some people might claim. This is a full VR experience. The world is behind me, it's below me, it's above me. Wow. There's only one issue that I know about with Portal 2 and VorpX. When you go through a portal, it snaps the camera to the right. So if I go in here now, instead of looking forwards, it's going to turn me to the right. I don't know why that's happening. Let me demonstrate. So there we go, look, my camera snap turned to face the right wall.
Cube and button-based testing remains an important tool for science, even in a dire emergency. If cube and button-based testing caused this emergency, don't worry. The odds of this happening twice are very slim.
And these cubes look massive.
Please note the incandescent particle field across the exit. This Aperture Science Material Emancipation Grill will vaporize any unauthorized equipment that passes through it.
I'm going down. Okay, with DirectVR Scan, if you load in a new level and you can't move your head, go into the VorpX menu again, press the delete key, and again hit the DirectVR Scan. That's going to rescan the game, it's going to rescan all the 3D, and it's going to rescan your tracking. Okay, so that was Portal 2 working in VorpX, and I showed you how easy it was to get up and running. If you play lots of games on your PC, on a flat monitor, and you use the mouse and keyboard, or a gamepad, then you're going to be playing VorpX games the same way, but you've got the added benefit that the game's going to be in an amazing 3D, and you're going to be actually inside the world. Now I'm going to show you how to make a brand new profile for a new game that's not in the VorpX library. The chances are, with the VorpX community rapidly growing, you will find a profile for a game. 3 years ago when I first started VorpX, when I tried to find a profile for a game, hardly anybody was using VorpX. It was really hard to find profiles. So back in the day, you had to make your own profiles. Today in 2022, I can guarantee you 90% of the games will have profiles in VorpX. And the only time you're really going to be struggling to find a profile for the game is if the game is a brand new release. I recently picked up Shadow Warrior 3 and I know there's no profile for the game. So I'm going to make a new profile for Shadow Warrior 3. It might not work. When you're making profiles, it's all a matter of trial and error. So when making a custom profile, always check to make sure there's no profiles for the game, or check to see if there's like a previous game. I'm going to be making a profile for Shadow Warrior 3. I do know that there are profiles for Shadow Warrior 1 and 2, so I can use those profiles as a starting point. We're going to check the local profiles. I checked last night and there was no profile, so unless somebody's made a profile last night, no profile. So we're going to do the same again in cloud profiles, and these are where you find user profiles. So these are profiles that people have made. We're going to type in Shadow Warrior again. I did a copy and paste, and you can't find a profile for the game. So I want to find Shadow Warrior 1 and 2 to base my new profile on the existing profiles. So if I just type Shadow Warrior, as you can see there's a default profile for the first game and there's one for the second game, and these just work out the box. We've also got a couple of user profiles. These are profiles that somebody might have tweaked, and 9 times out of 10 they'll leave some instructions in the description telling you how they change the profile, that sort of thing. When you're making a new profile for the game, you need to know what game engine the game is running on. So check the game you want to make a profile for to see what the game engine is. It might be Unity engine, it might be an Unreal engine, or the game might even have its own engine. Once you know what the game engine is, then you need to find a profile that's been made for a game that uses the same engine. As an example, I had a comment from a viewer asking me to make a profile for Ark Survival Evolved. I told them it's not my kind of game, so I didn't really look into making a profile. I did find out that the game uses the Unreal engine. Also, VorpX has got some profiles already, so there's no need for me to make a profile for the game. Now I find the best way to find a profile for a game that you want to base your new profile on is to use Google, type in, let's say for example, VorpX best Unreal profiles. Do a search and it's going to take you to the VorpX forums. If I click in the top one here, look, if I scroll down, there's a list of games here that work really well with the Unreal engine. So if I was to make a new profile for Ark Survival, I would find a profile in VorpX for either Get Even, the Turing Test, or Canarium. Making new profiles is a matter of trial and error. Some might work, some might not work, and it's just finding that one perfect profile that works with your new game. Okay, so I want to make a new profile for Shadow Warrior 3. I've installed the game. I've run the game once. I set the game to Windows mode. I turned off any motion blur, and I set the FOV to the maximum. After running the game for the first time, it's made the folders and the files for VorpX to find and attach itself to. We're going to base the new profile on the last game, which is Shadow Warrior 2. I'm going to use the default profile because I know it works. So we're going to select this one, we're going to import the profile. This is going to overwrite my Portal 2 profile. So the Portal 2 I just showed you is going to be overwritten when I import this profile. Import, click on OK. Now we can go into local profiles and we can find Shadow Warrior 2. Now we're going to select Shadow Warrior 2 and we've got some new commands on the right, and we're going to create a new profile based on this one. Click on that, name the game in here, Shadow Warrior 3. tick both these boxes here, keep the shaders, and keep the direct VR scan settings if it's available. And then we're going to click on OK. Now we need to find the exe file for the game. If you want to know where the game's installed on your PC through Steam, go to where the game's installed, right click, go to Manage, go to Browse Local Files, and this is where the game's installed on your PC. So make a note of where it's installed. Now we're going to click on Add File, and we're going to go to the directory that we just found on Steam, Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, and I'm looking for Shadow Warrior 3. There we go, Shadow Warrior 3. We're going to click on that and we're going to select the exe file, click on that, and then all we need to do is click Apply, and that's a custom profile done. Now the hard part is to try it out, see if it works in VR, see if you've got 3D. If it doesn't work, then probably try the Shadow Warrior 1 profile, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. If you make a profile and it's working really well, then consider sharing it to the VorpX cloud so other people can download it and try as well. I'm just going to jump in now and see if it works. I've not tried this yet, so this is the first for me. I'm going to run the game and we're going to see if VorpX hooks. Okay, VorpX is hooking. VorpX is attached. That's a good sign. Now it's just a matter of tweaking the profile to get it to work. I'm going to jump into my save game and I'm going to see if it works. I'll let you know if it's working. Okay guys, so sadly there's no 3D with this profile. So it's a matter of trial and error. I'm going to have to find a profile that works with the game. I can quickly try the other modes to see if the 3D pops. Immersive screen mode, no 3D. Cinema mode, no 3D. I mean, if you want to, you can play the game like this, but it's just a flat screen. So it's still like playing the game on a giant cinema screen. That means I'm going to have to mess around to try and find a profile that works, or I just need to wait for somebody to make a profile. Ralph the creator has made default profiles for the first and second game, so it might just be a matter of waiting for him to make one as well. I'm going to leave it there guys. I hope you find this guide really useful. Any problems, any issues, go to the forums. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. Be sure to my little bell. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!